Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back again with a new summarizing video. From today we are starting to summarize each and every episode of famous TV serial Arrow or The Green Arrow. Starting from the beginning today I am gonna summarize episode 1 of season 1, the pilot. So, let's get started. Open with a bearded man being rescued from an island near North China Sea named Lian Yu. Via voiceover we learn that he's been stranded here for 5 years and has transformed himself into something completely different during that time. His plan is to bring justice to those who have poisoned his city. His name is Oliver Queen. A news report tells us that Queen had been missing and presumed dead for 5 years. He is the son of billionaire Robert Queen, who was killed during the shipwreck. The younger Queen had been a notorious playboy before the accident. Queen is reunited with Mother Moira and brought back to his castle-like residence. He isn't too thrilled with seeing his father's former business partner Walter Steele, though he's overjoyed at the sight of his younger sister, Thea. On the other hand, we see a young attorney named Laurel Lance working at a legal aid office. She is working on the case of Adam Hunt, a corporate financier who has swindled hundreds of people out of their homes. Laurel's sister, Sarah, was killed in Queen's shipwreck and she turns off the news report in the office. The now incredibly muscular Queen says he doesn't recognize what he sees in the mirror. He flashes back to the shipwreck and we see that he was romantically involved with Sarah on the boat. Queen's good buddy Tommy Merlin comes over for dinner. Queen suggests wanting to spend time at the office and Walter doesn't seem to like the idea. It comes out that Walter and Moira are now married and Queen ends up excusing himself from the table. Queen sleeps with the window in his bedroom open. He dreams about the night of the wreck. Laurel's sister Sarah is worried about what their fooling around would do to her sister. The storm rips into the boat and knocks Sarah out to sea. Robert pulls him onto a life raft and tells him she's gone. There is a storm and when Moira comes to check on him, he instinctively grabs her. The next day, Queen visits Thea and gives her a Buddhist symbol of reconnection. Unbeknownst to him, she appears to be mixed up in drugs. Tommy wants to organize a huge welcome home party for Queen. Queen says the person he missed the most while he was gone was Laurel. Queen drops by Laurel's office. She's still very angry with him and ends up saying he should have died. In the way Queen and Tommy are kidnapped by mask-wearing men with guns. We flash back to Queen's father telling him on the life raft that he isn't the man he thinks he is. The kidnapper wants to know if Queen's father made it to the island and whether he told him anything. Queen is able to escape captivity and kill his attackers. Queen is interviewed by Laurel's father, Detective Quentin Lance, and his partner, Lucas Hilton. They are skeptical of the claim that a man in a green hood saved them from the abductors. Lance comments on the Queen's wealth, offending Moira, but Walter smooths things over. Queen researches Hunt online. We see that Hunt's name appears on a list in a notebook he brought back with him from the island. Moira wants Queen to have protection and assigns an ex-military man named John Diggle to be his bodyguard. Queen almost instantly gets away from Diggle and heads to one of his father's abandoned factories. He sets up a secret command post and begins training. His first target is Hunt. Queen, now outfitted in his Arrow disguise, takes out several of Hunt's men and demands he transfer $40 million into a certain bank account by the following day. If Hunt doesn't comply, Arrow tells him he'll take the money and you won't like how. Hunt wants Lance and Hilton to make sure they find this maniac with the green hood. Neither are particularly interested in helping a suspected criminal, but Hunt tells them to coordinate with his head of security, Konstantin Drukin. Hilton concludes that Queen was telling the truth about the hooded vigilante. Lance tells him that if the vigilante wants trouble, they'll give it to him. It is the night of Queen's welcome home bash. The party is just across the street from the building where Hunt works. Queen spots his sister with drugs and they get into an argument. Queen literally runs into Laurel and the two of them speak privately. She apologizes for being so harsh with him and asks whether Sarah suffered. Queen tells Laurel he's not a better person than he was and warns her to stay away from him. It sounds like he's protecting her. Queen gives Diggle the slip yet again. As Arrow, he heads next door and slices through Hunt's security team. He gets Hunt alone in his office and sends an arrow into a cabinet behind him. Arrow ends up getting into a lengthy fight with Drucken and ends up getting knocked to the ground. With Lance and Hilton on their way up the stairs, Arrow is out cold. But he wakes up just in time and leaps out the window, taking a zip line to the building where his party is being held. Lance and Hilton arrive at the conference center and tell Queen the party is over. Queen tells them they are on private property, but offers a $2 million reward to anyone with information on Arrow. As the crowd cheers, Quentin and Hilton leave and Tommy comments that it's quite a coincidence that Arrow struck near the party. He asks Queen what happened to him on the island, and is told a lot. We see Hunt yelling on the phone that $40 million has been removed from his accounts. The arrow that Queen shot into the wall had some kind of electronic device that tapped into his accounts. Queen flashes back again to being on the raft with his father. Robert thinks his son is the only one who can survive and tells him to right his wrongs. Robert pulls out a gun and shoots the other man on the raft, then himself. We see that the clients Laurel has been defending are being wired money that matches what they are owed by Hunt. Tommy and Laurel go for a walk. They seems to have had an on and off romantic thing. Tommy would like to make it permanent, but Laurel doesn't think it can work. In another voiceover we hear that Queen plans to get revenge on everybody on the list. At the end Moira meets with the apparent mastermind behind Queen's abduction. After being assured that there is no way the police can trace the kidnapping to her, Moira tells him that there are other ways to find out what Oliver knows about her husband's death.